Get in the know. Non-stop Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
When I tell you guys I love you, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I will ride with this group until they don't let us play anymore games.
Oh, dude, KOC is just... Inject that dude's locker room speeches straight into my veins. I don't know if you guys have seen, too, the Vikings put out like a 9-minute mic'd up thing.
I did.
There's a shorter clip. He is full of life right now. Just full of energy. 5 straight wins. They found a fun backup quarterback in the absence of Kirk, and he's dialed in right now.
He's awesome, too, because he's a guy that loves to talk.
Oh,
There's the one play he calls in to Dobbs.
Do you need that again, Josh?
And I'll give it to you again.
He can't respond, right? Because Josh doesn't have a microphone.
And then he's like, I'll give it to you again.
Yeah.
Well, and then how about the play? How about the Dobbs great scramble for a touchdown where KOC had told him, if you need to take off, take off. So the play gets done and KOC's walking along the sideline, clearly perplexed. And his last thing is, how do you do that?
Yeah, he was kind of like,
how do you do that?
Whatever, that works, I guess. I don't know what just happened there because I haven't. We went through his sort of history as a backup quarterback in the NFL, Kevin O'Connell, that is, and his coaching career. And he has spent very little time over 15 years around mobile quarterbacks. It's been a lot of Kirks and Staffords, and he did as some sort of special projects coach or consultant early in his coaching career. He did spend some time with the Niners the last year of Colin Kaepernick, but it was all kind of falling apart, and he wasn't like a quarterback's coach or in the room every day. Mark Sanchez he was with as a player.
I love the candor, though.
Castle.
I love a coach saying, how would he do that? I don't know.
Yep, it's amazing what happens when you can run like that dude does. But we have a State of the Offense episode keyed up for you and a couple, I think, deep dive questions that are worth posing here today. We also have a Random Viking of the Week on Purple Daily. This is Daily Vikings Entertainment. We just want the Vikes to win a Super Bowl around here before we die at some point. And today is also Give to the Max Day. So here at Score North, across all of our podcasts, including Purple Daily, we are throwing our support behind our friends at Secondhand Hounds. So we obviously are dog lovers on this show, as you guys have gotten to know, and many of you are also animal lovers. So Secondhand Hounds rescues dogs and other animals from kill shelters and from owners who can no longer provide care for their dogs, and they look to get them proper veterinary care, the daily necessities, and then eventually finding them a permanent, loving home. And whether you have $5 or $50, whatever it is, we drive you to scorenorth.com/donate today. Scorenorth.com/donate, where our friends at Nutrisource will be matching up to $1,000 raised. And we hit that mark, I believe, yesterday. So thank you guys.
You guys are awesome.
And thank you to Nutrisource for helping us raise some money for this excellent cause. Also, a shout out quickly here to Federated Mutual Insurance Company. Federated's been around for over 100 years, helping businesses maximize their level of success through risk management. It really is like having a great offensive line for your business. So especially if you're a next generation business owner, Federated would love to work with you and help usher your business into the next 5-10 years. Find out more, federatedinsurance.com. You can find a full list of industries that they specialize in. Federated, where it's our business to protect yours. All right, gentlemen, it is time for a State of the Offense. We'll start with just the overall snapshot here, and then we'll dive into a really interesting quarterback thing. So stay tuned. Where does the Vikings offense rank on the season? Yards per play, 9th. Points per game, 12th. Expected points added, so analytically, they are 11th. And then DVOA, also analytically, they are 12th. So 9th, 12th, 11th, 12th. You can say that the Vikings are very firmly a fringe top 10 offense for the totality of the season here. Now, what's interesting is since the Vikings swapped out Cousins for Dobbs, they've gone backwards in yards per play a little bit, but they've made a leap. One small step for Josh Dobbs, one giant leap for the Vikings scoring offense. They've climbed up in scoring offense, and some of that's just converting in the red zone. Josh Dobbs has used his legs a couple times where maybe the Vikings would have settled for a field goal or something, you know.
Ty Chandler. Like they changed it. They actually came up with a play that didn't exist while Kirk was the quarterback.
Yep. But here's what I find really interesting, and this is, I think, going to open up a broader discussion about the quarterback position. So now that we've got multiple weeks, 2 weeks of Josh Dobbs with the Vikings, we're going to give you where Kirk Cousins ranks. His season's over, but where he ranks in some key categories among other quarterbacks, and where Josh Dobbs ranks as a Vikings quarterback. So I'm throwing the Arizona dumpster fire roster, everything, coaching, franchise. We got 2 games of Dobbs with Vikings. Let's compare apples to apples. They both had Kirk and Dobbs with Kevin O'Connell, with the same offensive system, etc. Okay?
Let's do it.
Passer rating, Kirk Cousins, 3rd, Josh Dobbs, 6th. QBR, Kirk Cousins, 10th, Dobbs, 1st in the NFL in QBR the last 2 weeks. PFF grade, Cousins, 7th, Dobbs, 11th. EPA, expected points added, Cousins 7th, Dobbs 8th. If you take all those categories and just average them out, where are you if you took all 4 of those categories? Cousins average ranks 7th, tied with Joshua Dobbs, also ranked 7th. That's amazing to me. Mm-hmm. That you just, okay, we're going to move this quarterback out of the car and we're going to put this quarterback in the car and average across those 4 categories. Now, they're driving it very differently, right?
Right.
One guy's like, whoa, I don't know. I can't read the speed limit signs. I don't know if I can reach the pedals. I'm just going to go. Right. And the other guy is very meticulous, and he's very studious. He's been in this car for a long time. But at the end of the day, they both rank average 7th among all quarterbacks if you stockpile all of those categories together. What do you think of that?
It's remarkable. Now, in the case of Dobbs, it's what? It is 4 quarters on Sunday and 3+ quarters the previous Sunday. But what I think of it is this. Cousins has a big enough resume where you sort of knew if you were an opposing defense, you knew what you were going to get from the Vikings offensively. Mm-hmm. And he's still, with O'Connell, to be very clear, with O'Connell as his coach, he overcame those things to be successful, at least in the regular season for the most part. I'm curious with Dobbs how this plays out as teams watch him on film and watch this offense and how it's operated. Now, I would argue this offense becomes far more unpredictable, which makes it harder on defenses with Dobbs a quarterback, because you don't know. He's got elements to his game that Kirk does not have. Now, Kirk is better in some areas, but Dobbs can do those things, just not as well. But the element of surprise with Dobbs is going to keep coming. And, when you're playing Denver and Chicago, those teams also, I don't know, are in a position to shut you down. But I think if anything, like if you made me have one thesis statement from this, one takeaway, it's this. And I think it confirms what we have thought. Kevin O'Connell has done a fantastic job offensively, clearly knows exactly what he wants, is willing to get there in different ways. He is and he's also willing to watch his quarterback probably do things of which he doesn't totally approve. But unlike old school fuddy-duddy coaches who don't approve and get pissed off, i.e. Brad Childress getting mad that Favre moved Tahi on a goal line touchdown, right? That wasn't the play. Fullback was in the wrong place. And Favre's like, oh, calm down now, calm down.
Yeah, O'Connell trust your chess pieces. Yeah.
O'Connell celebrates it. So my thesis statement would be this is even more evidence of what a fantastic job O'Connell is doing from an offensive standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's been able to really get the most out of a guy that was supposed to be just the insurance policy, because you remember they started Jaron Hall, and what happened in that Falcons game if Jaron Hall doesn't get injured, he was the backup plan here in case things go awry or things aren't ready yet with Jaron Hall. And here comes Josh Dobbs off the street with a completely different skill set, and basically has been driving the car perfectly. It's almost like you gave this car to someone who doesn't have the license to drive this car and shouldn't be driving the car, and he's really good at driving it. Like, he's a really good driver of this car. He knows exactly what he's doing, and you trust him that he can get you to where you need to go. And it's been crazy watching just this, the mobile quarterback factor. I think that's what I told you guys after the first game of Judd being like, why are you so obsessed with this mobile quarterback statement and thought process? And after 2 games, you can completely see why Kevin O'Connell's jaws dropped after the touchdown that they showed on the sidelines with clips that have come out. of like, oh my God, this guy can do things that we haven't probably really seen since like Dante Culpepper days.
Yeah, but the first thing you said was sort of like, okay, this guy was brought in for an insurance policy, and oh my God, we don't even know if does he know what this car is? Like, I guess we're just going to see if he can drive it. I mean, that's what's striking to me is that over the last 6 years, the Vikings have spent all of this energy. They've poured their entire soul, basically, as a franchise into building the team around Kirk Cousins. Guaranteed contracts, no trade clauses, massive cap hits that in most years he's one of the top 3 to 5 highest paid quarterbacks to the salary cap in the entire NFL. Where it's like, okay, we're gonna bring this guy in. Kirk's gonna be the franchise savior. He's gonna get 15 to 20% of the allocated resources, and the other 52 guys can kind of just fight over it, right? But this is our guy right here. We're gonna pour our energy into this guy right here, and then boom. He tears his Achilles, and a journeyman quarterback walks in the door, sits in Kevin O'Connell's car, and the offense has been better the last 2 weeks. They're scoring more points. It's a 2-week sample size, and I don't think anyone I know that like people are going to interpret this however they want to, but I don't think anyone here is saying definitively, oh my God, Joshua Dobbs is for sure going to keep playing this way, and he's for sure the long-term answer. I am not there yet, but it is just fascinating to me. It almost makes you think, what were you doing for 6 years? Like, I could see if it was a discounted version, but you let areas of the roster erode because you couldn't spend money. You couldn't go get a guard in free agency because you had cap issues, right? You're bargain bin hunting every single March because you've got a quarterback who makes $35, $40, $47 million a year if you look at the cap hits year by year. And this dude walks in the door, 5 seconds of meeting his teammates, and they score the most points in a game that they've scored all season.
Right.
It really makes you think about what you're doing here the last few years.
But up until 2022, you didn't have the infrastructure to do this. You didn't have the coaching staff to do this. You had a head coach who was absolutely fixated on defense, and a GM who basically at the end of the day in 2018 threw up his hands and said, I can't find a quarterback. I'm just going to go sign what I perceive to be a good one. O'Connell, and this goes back to when he got hired, and I said this, and I know it seemed like a shot at Kirk at the time, but I think now it's proven. He is a puppeteer. Kevin O'Connell is has the mind of a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He does not have the physical ability to pull that off. But what he's done, this to me, the Cousins to Dobbs thing though. So like the car, let's talk about the car, because what makes this different is this is the Fast and the Furious, like 3. Okay. You've got different cars.
Which one's Tokyo Drift? Is that the 4th one?
That Tokyo Drift is technically 3. It's the third installment.
One. But there's some bad ones in there, right? But my point is
Tokyo Drift.
But my point is Cousins had a car, and I would call it a very Cousins-like family type of car. You know, he's got the Caravan or his car. And O'Connell's like, oh, okay, you can drive this, and I know exactly what we're going to do to make you as successful as you can possibly be. And then Dobbs shows up, and let's be honest, he's Vin Diesel. He's Vin Diesel. He's a badass man.
Well, they're both bald. Sure, okay.
And so O'Connell says, hold on a second here. Let's go into the lab, as the Vikings like to call it. I will adjust the car. We will redo the car with a new engine and soup that sucker up. And you're going to run this. This is the incredible thing. Like, we're talking about a mid-season coach who basically is probably throwing a lot of what he believes out the window and bringing in a different philosophy. Like, do you know how tough that is in football? That's not how football coaches operate. This is why I'm so fixated on Kevin O'Connell.
And that's where I know sometimes people get upset that we spend time talking about like how much money people make, but it's not about, it's about draft roster strategy, right? Like it's about
Correct.
How do you allocate resources?
Your construction. Absolutely.
And to me, it's become, this is the first time we've ever really gotten an extended look. And by extended, I mean 2 games. It's barely even an extended look, but it's the first time we've gotten to look at somebody other than Kirk Cousins in this new Kwesi KOC infrastructure. And it's becoming obvious, even after only 2 games, that there's a lot of quarterbacks that could look great in Kevin O'Connell's offense.
Correct.
So that's not a knock on Cousins per se. It's a compliment to Kevin O'Connell and the roster that's here and the weapons that they have, right? That it doesn't make sense if you've got a number of different quarterbacks that can run this system at a high level. It doesn't make sense to identify one of them and be like, okay, we're going to give 15 to 20% of our team salary cap to that one guy.
Correct.
Why? Just like if we decided today, holy crap, we love Josh Dobbs as a long-term answer. My opinion on that changes if all of a sudden there's 4 other teams in a bidding war in February or March, right? Like, he's not Patrick Mahomes. He might be a good starting quarterback, but he's not a guy that you just write a blank check for and then you figure the rest out. Patrick Mahomes is. We'll see how many other guys with some of these big contracts wind up being that. Patrick Mahomes, hey, what do you want, man? 50 million? Cool. Like, we just want you around for 10 years. It means we have to trade Tyreek Hill. And they're fine with that because they can still win a Super Bowl. So, like, Dobbs at the right price, Cousins at the right price, I'm in on. I don't know if I'm in on post-Achilles surgery.
Right.
But that's like, I guess we're just finding out that it's very obvious a lot of quarterbacks would look great driving this car, to keep up with the car analogy.
And the win there is, it is the head coach. Like, to be honest, I didn't know O'Connell would have this much success with Dobbs. Like it would be a lie. I was interested, but it would be a lie to say, oh, I saw these last 2 games coming, right?
Yeah, me too.
Jaron Hall got off to a good start, folks. He's a 5th round pick. That's impressive within itself. So did I think that Kevin O'Connell could soup up Kirk Cousins and get more success? Yes, I did. I was pretty certain that he could do that. Did I see what we're seeing now coming? Absolutely not. And this now gets into the whole blank canvas thing of, well, if Kevin O'Connell says, you know what, JJ McCarthy's really good, and I see a lot there, and I can develop that. You know, we become scared of quarterbacks because the Christian Ponders failed miserably, but did they have the infrastructure? The answer is probably no. Mm-hmm. So, like, that's the whole thing, is we have to get over the names of the players in some ways and go with, if this guy can develop quarterbacks like this, it's a gift. And the other thing is, it also hits on the one key thing about this league that the Wilfs have always known and talked about. There's no salary cap for coaching staff. You can pay Kevin O'Connell as much as you want, and no one's going to do a damn thing about it.
You can also pay Brian Flores more money too.
Exactly.
Right?
But that's my point. If you have this coaching staff and it's this good, you have solved part of the Rubik's Cube, which is, how do I keep the success going? Well, if you hit on the right people, you can pay them from now until whenever you want.
Mm-hmm. One last Josh Dobbs question. And I actually have a state of the defense topic for you guys too. We might just have to turn these into State of the Vikings Thursdays, because the defense has been,
you're a little Brian Flores.
So much fun.
You're on the train, and I don't blame you one bit.
Mm-hmm. I guess I'm just going to ask it very simply. Do you think Dobbs is good? Like, do you think he is, like, do you think he's a top 15 quarterback? 2-week sample size in this system, so small sample size alert. He ranks 7th in those 4 categories aggregated. I don't think he's the 7th best quarterback in the league, just to be clear. Do you think Josh Dobbs, in the right situation, is legitimately one of the top 15 to 20 best quarterbacks in the league? Or do you think we're just seeing a fun magic carpet ride for a couple weeks?
The latter. The latter is my
magic
guess.
Carpet ride.
It's a fun magic carpet ride. It strikes me, again, not the same player at all, so I'm not comparing them as players. It reminds me so much of 2017 with Keenum. I feel like he's hit. Look, do I think he's better than the perception? Absolutely, I do. Do I think he's top 20? Probably not. Do I think it does prove that if Kevin O'Connell gets the right type of guy, he can make it work? Yes, I do. And that's where I'm obsessed with. That's where the whole thing, and I know that they like Kirk, and I know that Kirk is now popular with his teammates and blah, blah, blah. But that's where I struggle a little bit with, do you really want to go back to a guy that can't run? Do you really want to, like we've seen this guy come in, not off the scrap heap, but I mean, he's certainly bounced around. And he has a unique skill set. I have a unique skill set. I can run the football, and I will kill you when I run the football.
Particular set of
skills, including my legs. So, but when I watch this, I am more invested and interested, not in Josh Dobbs necessarily, but in, oh my God, when you have the ability to escape. And what Doogie said on the scoop, I absolutely love, when he said that he was talking to Jordan Addison in the locker room a couple days ago. And Addison said, yeah, when that dude escapes, I can basically play playground football. Like, think about the playground components this team has.
Yeah, it's fun.
So he can so when Dobbs is scrambling, all of a sudden Jefferson and Hawkinson and Addison can break off and sort of get themselves open, which, by the way, is what Travis Kelce does.
Yeah, we haven't seen any of that, right? Everything is like, it's the on schedule stuff, but Kirk is very, very good at the on schedule stuff. But a lot of big games, you're on the road, playoff game, the thing that puts you over the top is the off schedule. Things are muddy. How do you get out of this situation? And that's that time and time again. I think Kirk Cousins teams have kind of hit that doorstep of a season or a playoff run. And it's like, all right, this team's punching you in the mouth. You're going to have to do something off schedule to make it happen. And that's not in his world. Like, he can't do it. So,
I mean, let's honestly talk though about like QB wins and infrastructure around them though too, because like we've seen this before. Like, quarterbacks have done this before. Alex Smith was god awful his first 5 years in the league, right? That Jim Harbaugh comes around, turns him around a little bit. Then he goes to Andy Reid, turns him around a little bit. Jeff Garcia loses his job towards the end of San Francisco, goes to like Cleveland, New York, becomes a backup to McNabb. Then all of a sudden shows that he can play a little bit and actually has a decent little career at the end of it. Teddy Bridgewater comes in for a Drew Brees who broke his thumb, goes 5-0 because he has really good infrastructure around him when he had to make some spot starts, right? So I think there's also the like telltale coach. The takeaway here is coaching. Like Kevin O'Connell, Jim Harbaugh, Andy Reid, like guys that are even I'm blanking on who was the Raiders coach, Gruden, who was with Jeff Garcia at the end in Tampa Bay. Like, if you have good coaching around him, you can take a slappy or a backup QB and ride him for a little bit if you have really good infrastructure and coaching around him.
Garcia is a very random but fun example. At the beginning of his career, I don't have his numbers in front of me, but I think he got the tail end of the 49ers 20-year infrastructure with Mariucci and Terrell Owens. I think he was throwing to Jerry Rice too. And he was really good at the beginning of his career with that infrastructure. Then he bounced around all over the place. But then he gets to like whatever, John Gruden. So we're kind of finding that out with this offensive staff.
And to Declan's point too, 2017, Case Keenum had Pat Shurmur, who had a great year that year.
And Diggs and Thielen and Rudolph and Dalvin.
But again, so the coaching was there, the talent was there. That's exactly right. And while I might not see Dobbs as a top 20, I will not be entirely shocked if he is the Vikings QB going into 2024 now.
Percent chance he's the starting quarterback week 1 of 2024 right now after 2 games watching.
Oh, I think it's probably higher than we think right now. Because I think it's gonna. I'm telling you, I think 50%? They're gonna duke it out between Kirk and Dobbs as far as who wants to play here more.
Well, they won't both be under contract though.
Right, but I'm saying like percent chance of. I think one of those two is probably just my guess. One of those two is probably your starting quarterback in 24. I'm going to say 40% chance on Dobbs.
I'm going to say 25%.
Wow.
I think it's still far too low, and there's so many options here. Kirk, Dobbs, unknown, Jaren Hall. Like, I don't think we can just for sure give this more than a coin flip chance that he's your week 1 quarterback here. I think there's too many cooks in the kitchen to pick from.
I think Jaren Hall winds up being. I think there's a good chance he's your top backup quarterback next year. That they trusted him enough.
I agree with
They put him through game preparation. They trusted him enough.
Agreed.
Especially if Dobbs is your starting quarterback, if they go that direction. And I would put it at like probably 30%. So I'm kind of between you guys. And it's more about how does he play the rest of the year, and then how many other teams would get into a bidding war for his services? Because all of a sudden now it's like if you go to him now and say, hey, man, can we get you for like $10 million a year? We'll change your life. This is more money than you've ever made playing quarterback. We'll get you $10 million a year. But if he hits the open market and now it's like, oh, there's 3 other teams and now it's a Geno Smith contract, $25 million. Oh, it's headed toward $26 million. Those are like 2 or 3 extra players you could get in free agency. That's Danielle Hunter re-signing money, right? So Can I show you guys something here? I'm going to share this on the screen over at scorenorth.com/shop right now. Scorenorth.com/shop. Get your new Purple Daily. We got a new item in the Purple Daily collection here. The Pastronaut item is live. Your shirts, your hoodies. scorenorth.com/shop. Judd will we'll get you on.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. Shout out to Katie Greenhill, wonderful designer here at Hubbard, put this together. So
great work.
Yeah, it's we got shirts and hoodies for you guys, and we're celebrating one of the more just sort of wild ride seasons in Vikings history. Hey, I got a defensive version of this, kind of a quick hitting one. But let's shout out some friends here. Quick Trip, Purple Daily, presented by Quick Trip these days. Judd?
We are indeed, and we do appreciate the folks at Quick Trip for sponsoring us. Of course, Quick Trip, one-stop shopping for all you need, including like the Mackies. Go get their groceries there now. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the old school convenience store. This is the convenience store that has everything, including their great Karuba coffee. They also want to give you a chance to win with the Vikings opening drive contest. Purchase any pothole pizza or 20-ounce Pepsi-Cola product with Quick Rewards to enter. Purchase both products together with Quick Rewards and receive 10 bonus entries. One weekly winner will receive a $10 gift card for every yard gained during the Vikings opening drive, which, by the way, with Josh Dobbs seems to be going pretty well these days. If the Vikings get a field goal on that drive, which they did last weekend, the winner will earn an additional $500 Quick Trip gift card. If the Vikings score a touchdown, why not? The person that wins that will earn an additional $1,000 Quick Trip gift card. Weekly winners will have a chance to win up to $2,000 in Quick Trip gift cards. And all weekly winners will also be entered for a chance to win a grand prize, a pair of 2024-25 Viking season tickets. Free fuel for a year from Quick Trip, a total value of $5,500. It's this simple. Just visit quicktrip.com/sweepstakes, quicktrip.com/sweepstakes.
Yeah, also, hey, our friends at Livia are helping you guys get a head start. Don't wait till the new year to change your life and lose weight. Start right now.
Yeah, Sports Dad right there, down 40 pounds because of a program that I'm going to tell you right now works. It's effective. It's a lifestyle change. That doesn't mean you have to change your life. It is definitely a positive, and they're going to help you keep the weight off. And now there is an offer on the table. Speaking of where will quarterbacks sign, where will you sign for weight loss? There's only one choice. Livia's pre-Black Friday event. Join today. Receive 50% off your personalized program. Lose up to 10 pounds in the first 2 weeks. And get this, folks, up to 20 pounds or more before 2024. So you're going to feel great when Jan 1 hits. It's Livia's best offer of the year. And it runs through Friday. 855-GO-LIVEA, Livia.com. Livia, LIVEA.com, and make sure that you let them know that the boys from Purple Daily told you this is how you're going to get your weight down.
Yes. So, okay, quick little state of the defense here. I think we should mix this in on Thursdays too, because the defense has just been climbing the charts. So on the season, here's where they rank in some key categories across the league. Yards per play allowed, 7th, tied for 7th. Points per game allowed, 14th. Expected points added, so analytically, 9th, and then DVOA, another analytical bin, 8th. So 7th, 14th, 9th, and 8th across those categories. Basically, call it a top 10 defense. Third downs, 28th in third down percentage allowed. So they're not good on third down. Red zone, 22nd. Turnover rate, 14th. Pressure rate, 21st. So it's kind of funny if he said, like, hey, the Vikings defense is going to be pretty bad on third down, not great in the red zone, mid-pack turnover rate, and they're not going to get a ton of pressures. They're going to be kind of bottom third of the league. Yet they're still top 10 in these overall categories. I think it speaks to scheme, tackling, I think forcing teams into maybe it's not an official pressure, but they see the blitz coming and boom, they get the ball out quick and the Vikings swarm and tackle. They still rank number 1 in blitz rate. But what do you make of this? I mean, they're basically a top 10 defense. Scoring, they're outside the top 10. Yardage and analytics, they're just inside the top 10.
I mean, it's one of the great stories for the team. If this team was to go through like the top 3 stories, the Dobbs story, just because it's such a good one, is the best. But I think that the emergence of a defense that last year statistically was awful is way up there. As we discussed, once you gave your hot take on Monday about Brian Flores just being named the coach of the year and forget all of the head coaches. I mean, my God, as far as the assistant coach of the year, which is an award, we talked about this. I mean, Brian Flores should be a slam dunk. What he's done has been incredible.
Yeah.
I think part of the third down thing, just from the top of my head, I think part of that too is, Byron Murphy Jr. gets dinged a lot by PFF. And it feels like he gives up catches and third down catches as well. But the one thing he's got is it feels like he's got the Trey Waynes tackling technique down. So he gets burned on passes, but he doesn't get burned for like huge gains necessarily.
Sure. Yeah.
But I think this is I don't think this story can be talked about enough. What Brian Flores has done in taking a defense that it's been proven now, it had more players than it looked like. Like he has gotten the most out of some guys who definitely, I don't even know if they had down years. They just weren't effective enough. They've been effective, but I think some of the stats that show that it's still not a great defense speaks to it still doesn't have like a ton of talent. Like Danielle Hunter is great. DJ Wanham to me is a guy, and they're probably maximizing him right now, right? The defensive tackles aren't great. And yet the run defense is not nearly as bad as I expected, and it looked in week 2 against Philadelphia. Ivan Pace Jr. has been a great signing, but I have to believe that Brian Flores has played an absolutely huge role in his effectiveness, in the swapping of guys, in the fact that Brian clearly came in and said, that number 44 can play. Mm-hmm. In fact, I think he can play, and I'm going to use him in different ways. So kudos, Brian Flores has overachieved, and if you have to pay him, if you have to give him a huge raise to keep him, I'm giving him that huge raise.
Yeah. So just real quick here. I was going through where some of the Vikings individual players in the secondary rank according to Pro Football Focus. Basically, how is this young secondary doing? You know, we got Harrison Smith and a bunch of young dudes running around, basically. So Mekhi Blackmon is the highest graded cornerback. We'll start with cornerbacks. He's the highest graded cornerback on the roster. He's played much more regularly the last handful of games. Opposing quarterbacks are 11 for 21 for only 116 yards when throwing at Mekhi Blackmon this year. 1 interception, 5 pass breakups, only 1 touchdown allowed. That's really good. 126 qualified cornerbacks in the NFL. Blackmon ranks 19th. He's been one of the top 20 cornerbacks in the league, according to Pro Football Focus. Now, Caleb Evans is 70th out of 126, and then Byron Murphy is 104th out of 126. It's been kind of disappointing, but he's made a couple big plays here and there too. And Andrew Booth has only played like 70 snaps, so he just hasn't played enough. On the safety side of things, we went over some of these earlier in the week, but Cam Bynum is the 5th highest graded safety in the entire league, according to Pro Football Focus. Out of 93 safeties, Cam Bynum is 5th. Harrison Smith is 23rd. Josh Metellus is 20th. So out of 93 safeties, the Vikings have guys ranked 5th, 20th, and 23rd, and then a top 20 cornerback. And then that was the biggest question going into the season, right? Was, boy, not a lot of experience out there. How's this going to work? And combination of Flores' scheme and talent. These guys are talented. Mekhi Blackmon was the Vikings' 2nd pick in this year's draft in the 3rd round. Just super impressive work with these young guys.
Yeah, it's been nuts to see, and I was just flabbergasted that they could be able to stop the pass as good as they do just because they didn't have experienced cornerbacks. They were relying on a bunch of rookies or second-year players, and you know we're seeing those Byron Murphy warts. We saw him for the most part of this season. He's been a lot better the last few weeks, but just the crazy amount of blitzes. And he has dialed back the blitz rate the last few weeks. I saw Kevin Seifert, I think, tweeted out the figure where they were blitzing 55% the first 8 weeks of the season, and now it's only like 30%, which is just nuts. Like he just brings these different, he's like a pitcher with 10 different things in his arsenal. And he's also really good. It's not Ricky Nolasco with 8 pitches. This is a really good pitcher who can just throw a different amount of balls at you that you don't have no idea what to expect for. And he's been damn good, man. He's been really good. So
there's just a little snippet of the state of the defense there. You got an offense that's top 10-ish and a defense that's top 10-ish, and both seem like they're headed in the right direction.
I think the takeaway from this season so far is the difference the coaching can make. I think that's my biggest. Yes, the Vikings have some very talented players and they are key, but the coaching has been outstanding of late. And this is a team that for the first 5 weeks couldn't hold on to the damn football. So that's what's been impressive, though. O'Connell and Flores have both been extremely impressive.
Yeah. All right, boys, it's time for a random Viking of the week, where we pit two members of the show against each other for a battle of historical knowledge, historical wits. In the new era, since all three of us started competing together and playing the losers out format, Judd and myself tied with 9 victories apiece. Declan with 3. All time, Judd has 61 wins, Declan 29. I have 16 wins all time. I am on this is my longest winning streak ever, a 4-game winning streak here. Dwight Smith, Robert Ferguson, Paul Ettinger, and Mike Wallace. Before that, it was Judd with Sean Hill, Cedric Faison, Carl Eller, and Dwayne Clemens on your own 4-game winning streak. And so since Declan got beat last week, he will throw out the clues here. We get 3 strikes each. Once either one of us hits the 3rd strike, the other person wins automatically.
Which has only happened once, right? I think that happened once.
To you, Phil, I think, guessed out. And I won by default.
Okay.
I think it happened. Yeah, it happened once.
I'm pretty sure it's happened. All right, let's go.
All right, this random Viking of the week won a Super Bowl. Spoiler alert, not with the Vikings.
So he played for more teams than the Vikings.
He's a Super Bowl winner.
Okay. I gotta call
This random Viking of the week was a day 3 draft pick in the era of 3-day drafts.
Okay. Helps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This random Viking of the week was a 3-star recruit out of high school. And I'm trying to pinpoint this, but I have this on pretty good information here.
Ooh.
This random Viking of the week was one of the first offers that PJ Fleck gave at the University of Minnesota. According to his Rivals page, this random Viking of the week received an offer from Minnesota in January of 2017. PJ Fleck was hired January 6th of 2017.
Okay.
Antoine Winfield, nope. Can't do that because Junior never played here.
That's a guess.
Dang it. Oh, man. I'll just take that one back.
Don't you hate when stuff just like...
I was like,
explodes
Antoine
from your
Winfield
mouth?
Jr.,
It
but
happened
no,
to me
it was his
yesterday.
dad that played.
I've had that happen.
Too.
I think it happened to me. I think when I said Todd Walker.
Who did I have with... You guys said like Dominican Republic, and I said like the whitest Twins player. I think I said like Denny
that's a
Hawking
few weeks
for
ago.
like
Matthew
for
LeCroy.
That's a few weeks ago.
It was something. It was just hilarious.
All right. 1 strike on Phil.
Son of a...
This random Viking of the week did play in the Big Ten.
Clearly did not come to PJ Fleck in Minnesota.
No, I don't know if that's clear. I don't know if that's clear. He didn't say that.
No. I sense what Declan. He's a crafty southpaw on the mound throwing slop right now, and that one was just backed us off the plate a little bit. We don't know where the ball's going. Maybe. All right, keep going.
This random Viking of the week received 4 offers out of high school.
Jamie Moyer. Yep.
3 of them from the Big Ten, and 1 from where's Boston College? This proves my college football now. ACC, I thought so. Okay. And 1 from the ACC in Boston College. 3 Big Ten schools.
This is a very condensed timeline here is what's throwing me.
A lot of college ball here. A lot of college ball.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So...
Won a Super Bowl.
Okay. So that would either be the...
I think I know what you're doing. I think I know.
This random Viking of the week ran a 4.42 40-yard dash.
Okay.
You want to go for your second guess, Phil?
Is it Cam Akers?
Cam Akers. Now he's down to 1 strike.
Damn it.
This random Viking of the week recorded 2 touchdowns with the Vikings in his career.
Phil's dangerous right now. I feel like when your back's up against the wall with 2 strikes, you become more you become more
nothing
dangerous.
to lose.
You have nothing to lose. You're like a mercenary rando. 2 touchdowns
in his Vikings career.
Super Bowl. Which one's Super Bowl?
This random Viking of the week has worn the following numbers in the NFL.
Okay.
I want
82,
this so
82, 17, 11, 15.
bad. What?
82,
17,
17, 11.
15. It's random Viking of the week played
This
in the
is
Big
good.
Ten.
This is yep.
So that is confirmed.
Yep.
Yep. No, you had said
We got that one.
You got that one?
Yep.
Okay, my bad.
Yep. 3. He was recruited by 3 Big Ten schools and Boston College. He was recruited by the Gophers and played in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dialed in right now.
This random Viking of the week, I believe, if memory serves right, was a Mr. Mankato finalist, odds guy. He was on our list of Mr. Mankato finalists within the last 3 years.
I mean, I'm going.
Do it.
Go. You do you.
No, but this guy, no, because he said only one. It's not him. I have all the criteria here except for. No, he scored more than 2 touchdowns.
This random Viking of the week returned a punt for a touchdown on Sunday. This random Viking of the week is active.
Emir Smith-Marset. Bang! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
I should
Emir
have watched.
Smith-Marset.
Come on!
I told you it's more
Come on,
dangerous.
Zolgad!
I told you it's more dangerous.
Emir. I also saw that highlight and realized
Yeah.
he's still in the NFL. Good for him.
This is sort of like when Phil said the bullpen coach clue, and I knew Drew Butera was a bullpen coach. I didn't know that Amir Smith-Marset returned touchdown or a punt for a touchdown.
Were you
Yeah,
anywhere
Sunday.
close on this one?
I
I mean, it
wouldn't
was
have got
like
that one. Nope.
So wait,
nope,
he
nope.
won a Super Bowl with either the Chiefs,
The
Rams,
Chiefs
or
last
Bucks.
year. The
Okay.
Chiefs.
Really?
I
Won
was
one.
not.
He didn't play, but he
I was not
technically
close.
has, on his Pro
If
Football
you-
Reference, Super Bowl champ.
If you had said Chicago Bears, I might have gotten. It might have stirred my brain, but no, I was nowhere close to that.
Yeah.
Is
Nope.
it Bears? Bears. It was Bears.
Bears.
Or is he with someone else now?
Yep. He's with the Panthers now. He returned the
Panthers.
punt for the
But
Panthers.
he went to
on
the
with
Sunday.
the
Bears.
Bears, and then
From here, he went to the
yeah.
Bears, and then I think he went to the Chiefs, and then. But yeah, I would not have. I was not anywhere close to that.
Let's go.
Like that one, huh?
Amir Smith-Marset.
not anywhere
5
close to that.
straight wins for Phil Mackey, the master
I just know,
of Random Viking of the Week.
I don't even feel bad about this one because I was
I mean,
sniffing around.
I got
it.
like 8 minutes of clues there for Amir Smith-Marset. I feel pretty proud of myself for dialing. At first I was like, what am I gonna do with?
Okay,
sometimes
I
I'll
was thinking
pick one.
KJ, because like KJ Osborne, but he played at Miami, right?
Yes.
So if you had said Big Ten or ACC and not said Boston College, I would have burned my last guess on KJ Osborne, because number 17, right? He wears. I'm bad with numbers. He's 17, but he didn't win a Super Bowl, so I would have just lit a guess on fire. But there it is. All right.
No.
Next week, Judd will throw out clues to the two of us.
I'll be doing the clues. Yes.
That's another. Oh, by the way, cheers to our friends at Surly,
Oh,
who've been
absolutely.
helping
It's like-
hydrate us this entire
It's warm out right now.
magical run right now.
oh, look at that.
Dude, it's like
Pool-
65 degrees outside right now.
Poolside with a
Insane.
before I die from our friends at Surly Brewing. What is better than that? A way to celebrate a Vikings victory, another great Josh Dobbs game. Yes, before I die. As I keep saying, the mission is back on track now. It certainly appears that this team is going to the playoffs. And if they're going to the playoffs, there's always an opportunity to get that elusive championship before we all die. And guess what? That means that you can enjoy a Surly before I die, or you know what? What the heck? A Logic Bomb, a Furious, so many great beers from Surly Brewing. Check them out. And as always, once you're sipping on that beer, show us your cans. Show us your cans at J Zolgad on X, at Score North. We always love to see you show us what you're sipping on when it's a surly brew.
Amen. Amen. All right. And that wraps a State of the Vikings episode of Purple Daily here. Daily Vikings entertainment, where we just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. See you.